Hi, I'm Keurig Ashley, author of the international best-selling book, How Would Love Respond, and the creator and founder of the one and only Life Success Club. And welcome to video 2 on get out of your bad mood. Like, how do you stay peaceful during turbulent times and surrounded by conflict? And how do you stay positive when your life is filled or your environment is filled with negativity? On the last video, we talked about changing your posture, changing your physiology, which is instantly going to change the way you feel. That in itself will instantly get you from a bad mood or a bad state into feeling great. Just by changing the way that you carry your body, it tells your brain that you're in a different emotional place, and it will instantly change the way you feel. And think about it, you can watch somebody walk into a room, and if they're carrying their body a certain way, you instantly know what kind of mood they're in. Matter of fact, you can see somebody walking at you, and you can tell that they're in an aggressive mood, or a happy mood, or a positive mood, or a powerful mood, or a sad mood, or whatever it is. We can see it on people before they ever say a word to us. That's the power. I was looking for something that's not here. It's in the last video, but posture, changing your posture, right? 2 was talking about focus. Change what you focus on. And another word for changing your focus would be is changing your perception. Because like I said in the last video, is that there is no truth, there's only interpretation, there's only your perception. Is it good or bad? I don't know. It's all about how you perceive it. Does that make sense? So I talked about in the last video how some promoters ripped me off for $250,000. I perceived it in a grateful way that, hey, at least I'm in a position where I can get ripped off for that level, right? So yes, I would have loved to got the what I earned if I would have received that, but that didn't happen. And that's life. It's not fair. It never will be fair. It's a waste of time trying to make it fair. So life doesn't turn out the way that it should. It turns out the way that it does. So now it comes down to what do you do with it is going to create the experience of life that you get. And like I said in the first video, is that at the end of this lifetime, if you look back over your life and you go, man, that was awesome. I enjoyed it. I loved my life. You won. You mastered it. If you look back over your life and you go, I hated it. It was painful. It was drudgery. You failed. Right? And, the purpose of life is to be happy. Is to have happiness, that you enjoy it. When you enjoy it, by the way, you're going to help other people enjoy it. Your happiness is going to spread. One of the things I always say is that wherever you plant your happiness grows. So, you are in a happy, great state. You're feeling great. And, you might be saying, oh, but Keurig, you don't understand my life, I don't have an easy life like you. I've got problems. I got hey, look, I'm a real guy. I've got a family. I've got kids. Most people know my story. If you don't, I used to be an actor in Hollywood. I was in 1989, doing a movie with Chuck Norris. A bunch of my friends were also on the movie, on the crew, and one of the stunt guys, Mike Graham, the key grip, and Don Marshall, the lighting director and stuff. And during filming of the movie, I was involved in a helicopter crash in which 5 of my friends died, and my best friend, Mike Graham, who was 29 years old at the time, died in my arms. And he was horrifically burned and badly damaged, and but I also lost 5 of my friends that day. So I do understand how life can, sometimes not only throw you curveballs, life can kick you really hard. I know you probably weren't expecting that on this program, but it's true. This is not sunshine and roses every day, And by the way, bad things can happen to good people. Not only bad stuff doesn't just happen to bad people. That's not the way it works. Sometimes bad stuff, what I mean by bad is painful. Death, cancer, a car accident, getting ripped off. All kinds of stuff can happen to you, even if you're a good person. Even if you work on your personal development, even if you're charitable, even if you're honest, even if you have integrity, life can still kick you. So here's my motto for life. And that is that any one day that life is not kicking you hard, don't kick yourself. Don't look for reasons to feel bad. Don't look for reasons to be upset with people. Look for as many reasons as possible to be happy. Does that make sense? I got no reason. As a matter of fact, one of the things I always say to myself is that, you know what? I've already used up all my unhappiness credits. I've already used up my angry credits. I've already used up all my pissed off and depressed credits. I'm not looking for any more tokens. I'm not going to go to the vending machine to try to get some more tokens that I can put in the other machine to feel bad. I'm done, right? I'm done. And so in order to change your life and change the way you consistently feel, here's our next strategy in this video, and that is, in order to be successful at life and to be a winner, you got to be great at this. And don't turn off the video just yet. It's not what you think. Okay? It's not what you think. In order to have everything you want in life, the first thing you need to have is... See, I told you it wasn't what you thought. Is you got to have strength. Why is that so important? Well, when you're strong, when you're emotionally strong, when you're mentally strong, the outside world doesn't have the same impact on you as it does when you're emotionally or mentally weak. Does that make sense? Is you just don't cop it on the chin as hard. It doesn't, have the same wallop it does as when you're feeling bad. When you're feeling great, you get to the point where, you understand that it's not the outside world that dictates how you think and feel. Because again, that's your perception. Not what happens, is about how you perceive what's happening. And so we need strength in order to have a strong perception and a positive perception of what's happening. Remember, we were talking about in the last program, focus, and also, gratitude. To have that strong focus, or to ask that question, what's great about this? Well, you got to be strong. See, because when we're weak, we might not even be able to get to that resource. So you got to be strong. And the areas that we have to be strong in, or what I call the 4 main muscle groups, well, the first one is physical. Second one is mental, emotional, and spiritual, right? These are the 4 main muscle groups that you need to be strong in. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? So in order to be strong, the first thing we have to do, in order to get strong, we have to exercise. See, I told you, I got your attention by having SEX up on here, but I told you it's not what you think. In order to get strong, we got to exercise. That makes sense, right? We got to exercise. So these are 4 main muscle groups. So what are the exercises that we have to do to be physically strong? Now, why is physically strong so important? Well, because remember we talked about in the first video, your posture, when you're physically strong, when you feel good, physically, mentally, emotionally, you're going to feel good as well, right? So we got to, and by the way, when you're sick, how many times you get the flu or the body aches or whatever, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to read, you don't want to study, you don't want to work on yourselves, you don't want to be productive. All you want to do is curl up on the couch or lay down in bed and do nothing. Okay. Now, if you got the flu, okay, that's one thing, but, having something that we create, an emotion that we create that debilitates us like that. And I know people, by the way, I was one of those people one time in my life when I was 21. I had like a major nervous breakdown. I was having everyday anxiety attacks and all kinds of stuff. And if you ever had anxiety attacks, it's like the worst thing ever, right? And it is debilitating. It cripples you. You don't want to do anything. You just want to hide out from the world. I've been there. It sucked. I hated it. Not hated it in a negative way, just did not like that experience. And man, the quality of my life was going down the tubes. I knew I had to do something to change it. So the first thing you do is get physically strong. Now, what are the exercises? Well, that's easy. Move. Move your body. Do something to move your body. So work out, hit the gym, sports, dance, run, swim, something. motion creates emotion, right? So when we're moving our body, especially moving it in a powerful, positive way, we're going to emotionally feel great as well. It's awesome. Now this would also include eating regime and water intake, right? So if you have a really nice sports car or luxury car, Mercedes or a Ferrari or something, you might have like a vehicle that costs you $100,000+, but if you put crappy fuel in it, it's just a lawn ornament. So garbage in, garbage performance out. So we got to make sure that the eating regime and water intake, because by the way, is 75% of your brain is made out of water, 85% of your blood's made out of water. We're made out of water. We need water, so you got to make sure you get a good water intake and eating regime. I hope this is not rocket science, and first time you're ever hearing that, I'm assuming it's not. Next, the next muscle group we got to work on is mental, right? It's a muscle, right? The science and doctors and scientists are proving these days that people who actively work on strengthening their mind have less chance of getting dementia and Alzheimer's later on in life. Why? Because, well, we all know it is if you don't use it, you lose it. Or if you are using it, you don't lose it. See, if you're constantly making it strong, well, your chances of it getting weak are diminished, right? So we want to make it strong, and the way you're going to do that is exercise. So what are some of the exercises you can do to get mentally strong? Well, number one is start reading. Read every day. Every day my face is in a book. I have a library. Now, by the way, I don't read murder mysteries and I don't read romance novels. And by the way, if that's what you want to read, awesome. I'm not saying not. I'm just telling you I don't. My shelf, my library is filled with personal development, inspiration, spirituality, how do I succeed in business, how do I learn how to do better marketing, stories and books and information that's going to make my life better. And every day I read, every day. Why? Because, man, your life changes. When you want to be successful, you have to immerse yourself in the language of success, because when you start speaking it, when you start hearing it over and over again, you're going to start speaking it, which by the way is thinking it, and when you think it, it's going to produce you to take different actions to produce different results. So every day, but also I'm strengthening my mind. Every day, my wife and I, Erin and I, every day we'll watch. We sign up to these online courses, and there's some amazing courses with some amazing teachers on the internet. One of them we're doing right now is with Brendon Burchard. I've been to Brendon's seminars since he first got going. Great teacher. And we're doing one of his online courses right now. I've done many of his courses, including online. Every day we get up, like 5 in the morning, and we watch another video for an hour long or whatever, and we're taking copious notes, and we're talking about it, and we're putting it to action. But as you see, our mind is getting stronger and stronger, our skill set's getting stronger and stronger, and that helps you produce better and better results, right? Also, audio programs. If you're going to drive to work every day, you're going to be on the bus, the train, walk, bicycle, I don't care what it is. Man, you could be listening to, stuff on your phone or your MP3 player or whatever that is. I was going to say cassette tape, but most people don't even know what that is anymore, or even CD. But anyways, you could be listening to audio programs. Don't listen to the news or, even just music. You can if you want to, but think about it. Is that really making your life better? Is it making you stronger? Is it helping you get the results you want? If not, wow, imagine sitting in traffic, and you're in your car and you're listening to personal development, or you're listening to how to make your business better, or how to make your life better, or relationship better, and you're improving the quality of your life at the same time that you're stuck in traffic. All of a sudden, stuck in traffic isn't that bad anymore, is it? Right? So, use that time to change your life, and your life gets better. So strengthen this muscle. Also, go to workshops. I go to a lot of workshops, and people see me there, and they recognize me, and they go, you're Keurig Ashley. I knew that. And they go, you wrote the book, How Would Love Respond? I knew that too. I love that book. Thank you. I love hearing that. What, are you like the guest speaker here? What are you doing here? And I said, no. And I showed my name tag. And I go, I'm participating. They go, why? Why? You're already successful. Because how do you think I got successful? Is I go to workshops. And by the way, when I go to workshops or people's seminars, I sit in the front row. Why? Well, think about it on a plane. Where's first class? It's in the front of the plane, right? Well, same thing, man. I've invested in myself. I've invested in this workshop. I sit in the front row, not the back row, because I want to be playing full on. I want as much as I can get and play at that level and absorb it at that level and then put it into action at that level. And by the way, is like when you're on the plane, where's the best place to network with other people? Yeah, first class, right? I don't want to go back, don't send me hate mail, back in cattle class or back in, economy. I don't get to network with the same people I can network in the front of the plane. And by the way, if you're not networking, you're not working. So networking with these other people, man, it can help grow your business. You get opportunities, inspiration, all kinds of things. That's just a side note. So we want to get strong mentally. So consistently work on your mind to make it stronger. Good? Next, emotionally. Powerful muscle. Matter of fact, this whole program we're talking about is about becoming emotionally strong. Well, that's a muscle. And it's a powerful muscle. Why? Well, because we're emotional creatures. We're actually not rational creatures. If we were rational, nobody'd be in prison. I mean, matter of fact, when I was over doing speaking engagements and seminars over in Kuwait and coaching the top oil executives over there, close to my hotel, they have a building, and I asked my driver, I said, oh, what's that, like a government building, And he goes, yeah, and I go, like politicians or whatever work there? And he goes, no, that's where they do public beheadings. I said, public beheadings? And they go, yeah, they chop people's heads off for certain crimes. And I said, they still do that? Like today? And he goes, oh, yeah. And matter of fact, thousands of people show up to watch it happening. I said, so what crimes? And they said, well, murder, pedophile, drug smugglers, and there's other crimes, but those are the biggest ones. And I said, okay, do people still smuggle drugs here if they know that you can get your head chopped off? They go, oh, yeah. I go, why? Why would you risk getting your head chopped off to smuggle drugs in this country? And they go, well, the money's so good. Now, see, that's not rational. You're emotionally caught up thinking, oh, I'm going to get all this money. I'm going to risk getting my head chopped off. But think about it. One mistake, one, mishap or whatever, and you get busted and your head gets chopped off. That's not rational. Human beings are not rational creatures. We're emotional creatures. And so this is a powerful muscle that we want to use in order to stay strong. We've got to work on that muscle and keep it strong. So what's the exercises? Well, number one is hang out with positive, happy, successful people and quit hanging out with pissed off, negative, angry people, your family. Again, don't send me hate mail. My point being is that, just because we pop out of the same womb doesn't mean we're supposed to be the best of friends with our siblings. Sometimes it doesn't work out, or our cousins, or somebody else. I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. And a lot of times, we get this thing in our head that we're supposed to be, and that causes a lot of guilt within us that we're not. Maybe you're just different. Maybe you're like me and my family. Now, by the way, I love my brothers and sister. We're just different. I'm always known as the weird one, right? I'm just out there. I'm different than they are, and so I've lived a different life. Love them. And that doesn't mean you're supposed to be the best, that you have to be the best of friends with them. Happens, right? So hang out with people that make you feel good. Quit spending, by the way, when I first met my wife, I was speaking at a conference somewhere, and she bought a copy of my book, and she came up and she said, hey, Mr. Ashley, it's weird talking about my wife and she's calling me Mr. Ashley. But anyway, she called me Mr. Ashley. She said, Mr. Ashley, I have a question for you. She said, there's a person in my life right now, and they're kind of negative and stuff. How do I turn them around? And I said, how do I make them more empowering and more positive? And I said, ma'am, let me start with this, is that you have a choice. You have a choice of who you hang out with in life. And if this is not a person that you're, like a child, one of your children or something like this, you might make a choice to just go hang out with people who are positive, because everybody has the opportunity to be empowering, and if they choose not to be, I can also choose not to hang out with them, right? So hang out with positive, happy, successful people. Also, quit beating yourself up for everything you think you're doing wrong or whatever. Just start being kind to yourself, right? Also, there's a strategy I use. It's called reframing. That just means everything has opposite sides to it, right? The law of polarity, which by the way is a law of nature, says that everything has to have opposite sides in order for it to exist. So that means you can't have a left without a right. You can't have a top without a bottom. You can't have an inside without an outside. It also means that all your problems have to have solutions, and all of your challenges have to have opportunities. So it's all going to come down to, again, is what we're focusing on, which side of the coin we're focusing on, that's going to determine how you react or how you feel, right? And so, the question is, what's great about this, or how can I look at this in an empowering way, gets us to focus on the side of the coin that's going to make us feel the best. And when you do that, it's going to change how you feel and change you emotionally. So reframe. What's great about this? Make sense? Also, by the way, if we're doing physical stuff or we're doing mental stuff, like I talked about already, is going to help us emotionally. Last but not least is spiritual. Now, spiritual isn't religion. As a matter of fact, I don't have a religion. My mom was Jewish. My dad was Christian. I was confused. I'm kind of like more like the concept that Elvis had, Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley used to wear a Star of David and a cross on the same chain on his neck. And when people asked him why, he said, I don't want to be kept out of heaven on a technicality. So I'm kind of like that. I don't really have a religion. I'm very spiritual. And spiritual doesn't mean religion. It means self-love. Now, by the way, in the Bible says if you do not know love, you do not know God, because God is love. Well, love is the most powerful force in the universe. I mean, if you ever study human beings, love has been our biggest driving force for what we do to do amazing stuff, right? Love of our children, love of our partner, love of our family, love of our cause, love of our country, love of the human race or human beings. Man, that is the most powerful motivator, the most powerful force that drives us to do amazing things, right? So, when we get strong spiritually, we feel great. Right? And it's self-love. And by the way, every challenge that we have as a human being, it's a self-love issue. It's all about self-love. See, if you really loved yourself, would you allow yourself to stay poor? I mean, is that loving? To struggle? If you really love yourself, would you allow yourself to stay fat and unhealthy? And by the way, I have no judgment about these things. I'm asking you, if you really loved yourself, would you allow yourself to stay unhealthy? Would you, if you really loved yourself, would you smoke cigarettes? Would you abuse alcohol or drugs? And again, no judgment. I'm just saying because if you ask like a full-on smoker, here they are smoking, would you stick a cigarette in your infant baby's face? All smokers would go, no, are you insane? I would never stick a cigarette in my baby's face. And I go, why not? And you go, because I love my baby. Oh, I see. But you'll do it to yourself. So as you see, it's a self-love issue. And the truth is that how are we going to ever love anybody else or make a big change on the planet and love them if we don't love ourselves? I mean, how are you going to give away that which you don't have yourself? So it's all a self-love issue. So when we get stronger in that area, we feel great, we act great, we're going to produce better results. So what are the exercises for it? Well, quit beating yourself up for everything that you think you're doing wrong or not doing enough of, or when you procrastinate. Instead, acknowledge yourself for everything you're doing approximately right. See, the thing is that when our brain links up pleasure to anything we're doing approximately right, it's going to want to expand on that and do more of it. right? But instead, you know, you do a great job here and there, but you didn't do this part, and people are so quick to jump on themselves and beat themselves up and criticize themselves for what they didn't get done or what they didn't do or how they didn't do it perfect. Well, your brain says, now wait a minute, why would I go do anything great when all I get is beat up for what I didn't do? See, that's not going to motivate us. So instead, and think about this for a second. Let's say your partner, your friend, you make them a cup of coffee and breakfast in bed. And they're like, you know, you really put the heart and soul into making this for them. And I mean, you made the coffee extra special and flour and the dessert, whatever it is. And you bring it to them and they go, all right, sure, we've known each other 20 years and now you finally do it. What are you trying to get out of me? What's wrong? How come you haven't done it? Man, if that's the response you get, would you ever make them breakfast in bed again? I doubt it, right? You might punch them in the nose, but I doubt you're going to make them breakfast in bed again. Well, my point being is if we get criticized for what we didn't do perfect or what we didn't do, why would your brain want to get you to do anything that's connected to that ever again? It won't. So instead, when you acknowledge yourself for everything you're doing approximately right, your brain's linking up, it's called a neural connection to what you're experiencing to a positive feeling, and it's going to want to keep doing more and more of it, and it's going to expand. And that's when your life changes, right? So be kind to yourself, be loving to yourself. And by the way, when you do, you know, take care of your body physically, mentally, and emotionally, that is self-love. And by the way, you can do all these things at the same time. You could be in the gym, working out, have your MP3 player playing, learn something as you're doing it. Motion creates emotion, plus you're doing nice stuff for yourself. It's going to make you feel better. That's all spiritual. Boom, you can do this all at one time. So it's not a big time commitment, but it's something that you got to do every day. Because see, when you walk out the door, if your container is empty, let's say there's an empty container in here, and basically it is when you wake up, you got to refresh it every day and fill it up with positivity, because when you walk out the door like that, man, you just carry yourself through life different and you attract different things in your life. Plus, when you get challenges, it's easier to handle them. But man, if you're going to have an empty tank when you wake up every day and you're going to go out in the world that way, don't be surprised that people throw their garbage and crap in your empty tank because they see this empty vestibule, they just toss garbage in there, which I mean is their drama, right? And it makes you feel bad and you get caught up in it, you react to it. Don't do it, right? Instead, fill it up every day, feel great, right? Use the strategies, PFG from the last video, game changer. And you're going, well, what's X, right? Well, that's called is excitement. Is you got to do it with passion and enthusiasm. Wallace D. Wattles, who wrote the book, The Science of Getting Rich, he said that getting enriched is not the result of doing certain things, it's doing things in the certain way. The certain way he's talking about is with passion and enthusiasm. Think about it. Anything you've ever been great at in life, that's the stuff you're passionate about and you're enthusiastic about. So you want to get great, get passionate and enthusiastic. Game changer. So, build strength. You do it by exercising and do it in passion and enthusiasm. Work on these 4 main muscle groups. Life-changing experience. Why? Because when you're feeling great, you can manage how you think and feel, and that's when you can create a different life that you got now, and it changes. And if you're going to go, look, Keurig, you don't understand, I go, look, just start. Make the decision. If you don't, you've already lost. You're a victim. It's got to change somewhere, and in order for things to change, you got to change first. The world's not going to change. You got to do it. Start off doing it. And by the way, try this stuff, and if it doesn't work, say, that's right, Keurig, you're a loser, you're a jerk, didn't work. I welcome that. But see, if you're already in the mindset it's not going to work, well, how much passion and enthusiasm you're going to put towards this. But if you're going to play full out, be amazed how you feel different. And like I said earlier in the video, is that everything we're doing in life is to either gain a feeling or to avoid a feeling. We don't want to feel bad. You want to avoid that. Do stuff that's going to make you feel good. Now, next video, more powerful tools, more game changers, more aha, blinding flashes of the obvious. You're going to love it. Until I see you in the next video, make your life dynamic and have a most outstanding day.